So, previously I planted an Araucaria, and I have to apologise about that because I called it a Norfolk pine, and I really thought it was, but I've looked into them a little bit more, having seen some that are definitely from seedling of Norfolk pines in a different nursery, and I can confirm it's actually a cook pine, which is quite a different tree. It's very closely related. It's also not a pine. It's also not from Cook Island. Just as a Norfolk pine is not from Norfolk, but Norfolk Island. This is not from Cook Island, but New Caledonia, which is a fascinating place that deserves to be talked about an awful lot, probably more than somewhere like the Galapagos in the Pacific. This is in the sort of Western Pacific, which is quite close to sort of Norfolk Island itself and New Zealand in the sort of broad sense of close to, because it's not really close to anywhere. It's very much one of the last lost continents. It is a vestige of a really bygone ecosystem, and it is a fantastic place, unfortunately, which is being absolutely devastated for nickel mining, because it is also one of the richest nickel deposits in the world, along with, I think, Papua New Guinea. In Papua New Guinea, I know they're trialing phytomining. I don't think you can do that with this tree, but because it tolerates an extraordinary level of nickel in the soil, it is quite a unique tree in its behaviour. A lot of the New Caledonian plants tolerate conditions that would kill almost any other tree you would try to plant there. But anyway, they do also grow very well outside. They do have one little quirk, which does mean they are restricted more or less to the tropics, because they lean towards the equator. And inside the tropics, that's not too bad. Like a 15-degree tilt on a tree is noticeable, but it's not huge. But if you were to go outside the tropics, have like a sort of 30-40 degree tilt, the climate is fine for them, generally speaking, right up into places like the south of the UK often. But as they grow old and they point towards the equator, they get heavier and heavier and heavier and tend to fall over, which isn't great if you depend on a root system. And because we're at 15 degrees latitude, we shouldn't really be in any trouble from that. Maybe a little bit of a lean. I have seen a mature one that I see regularly on my drive into town. It does have a bit of a lean. It is noticeable, but it's not anything that you'd worry about with a tree. This is going in a fairly open area, and it is a more tropical tree than the Norfolk pine, which I thought the last one that I planted was. But it still likes quite a lot of water. New Caledonia gets quite a lot more sort of space through the year rainfall than we do here. I mean, parts of it are desert, which is a whole other thing. It's an awesome place. But to keep it sheltered while it's small and while I'm sort of watering it relatively infrequently until the rains come, we're going to be putting 3 pieces of Dracaena fragrans all around it just to keep it nice and sheltered. We're going to be putting a nice big chunk of Aloe camerooni due north of it, and then we're going to be absolutely surrounding it with Kalanchoe pinnata, which should very quickly root and sort of form a thicket here, and should get significantly taller than this little seedling is at the moment. So once this is sort of poking its way past the aloe, it will be well sheltered by those until it's big enough and sort of sturdy enough to face full sun. And that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't enjoyed it, thank you for watching anyway. Please tune in again tomorrow. I will be planting something else. Like today, I will be going out, so there is a small chance that I will find a tree that I wasn't expecting to, and that will be what's going in. But otherwise, it should be quite a boring planting tomorrow. So we'll see.